everybody, welcome back. So we got a director's take just came down today for season 16, and just want to look and see what kind of changes we got coming up. So director's take, season 16 on the horizon. Blizzard Entertainment, April 10th, 2025. Hey everyone, this is Alec Dawson, Associate Game Director. I feel like his title was different previously, but I might be wrong. Anyway, for Overwatch 2, with a look at some of the many great changes coming in Season 16. The team has been working hard to perfect new additions like the perk system and our new hero Freya, while balancing classic favorites like 6v6 competitive open queue. Tons of information about our new game mode Stadium will be heading your way next week. Okay. Well, I was kind of surprised that they stopped the April Fools a week before. Does that mean we're getting some kind of trial next week, maybe? Hope you're all as excited as I am, so let's dive in. So, perk perfection. Introduction of perks last season added a new layer of gameplay and strategy to Overwatch 2, and players are still brainstorming the best choices for their favorite heroes and personal playstyles. I don't think so. Most of them have a pretty obvious pick on which one's best. Previous Director's Take recapped our AMA about perks. Thanks for all the great questions, and many perks were tuned up in the mid-season balance patch. Players have given us great feedback, and the team is continuing to refine the perk system. Certain perks are big hits, like Honest Strike, more popularly known as the Double Nano, and Bastion's Lindholm Explosives, which gives explosive shields. I'm not a fan of that one, personally. I'm really not. These are impactful and transformative perks that enable meaningful changes to your gameplay. Making sure perks for every hero tick those boxes is a big priority for us, and we're confident changes in Season 16 and beyond are pointing us in the right direction. One of our biggest philosophies when designing and improving perks is the idea that there's never a wrong choice. There's some heroes that definitely failed on. There's no reason on Tracer to ever not take the perk that resets your blanks when you recall. And there's several others that are just as broken. You should never feel like picking a perk is a universally poor option. Maps, team composition, enemy heroes, and personal playstyle should all influence your decisions, but one perk shouldn't be the default go-to in every situation. Exactly how we make sure we're hitting those goals. We look at a combination of what we're seeing, data like pick rate gaps, and the amount of influence perks have in a moment-to-moment gameplay. If we feel a hero has less impactful perk set overall, we also wanted to offer them new options. So are we getting several replacement perks, is what that's sounding like? Which is good. I don't see any reason for anyone to ever take the Junkrat one that just lets you throw your trap further. There's also constant iteration going through on behind the scenes to dream up bigger and better options for future seasons. Good example for Season 16 is Sombra's updated perk kit. Okay, so they are already making some changes. Stack Overflow, while impactful, doubled down on things Sombra was already good at rather than bringing transformative gameplay. It'll be replaced with a new major perk, Viral Replication, which allows her virus to spread to nearby enemies and will enable bolder team dives. Sombra already had pretty high burst damage for her mobility and utility that she has. So if they're going to allow virus to spread, it needs to have reduced damage. Mercy's previous minor perk, Angelic Recovery, felt passive, so we want to add something more active that brings strategy. Angelic Resurrection, which gives 100 overhealth upon casting Resurrect. Players will have to judge if the risk of saving a teammate behind enemy lines is worth the reward for enhanced survivability. 100 overhealth upon casting. So is that overhealth for the Mercy or overhealth for the person being resurrected? Our newest support, Juno, will receive a new major perk that enables more aggressive playstyle. Locked On gives a lower cooldown every time an enemy is hit, encouraging more. So it's the same as the one she has now that makes it lock on quicker for teammates, except they're doing it for enemies as well. While Reboost performs better after a recent adjustment, it'll replace the less picked Hyper Boost as a minor perk. While we try not to nerf perks too often, some options clearly need tuning heading into Season 16. Oh, sorry, Triple Blink Tracer fans. I was just commenting about that, how that was always an auto pick, so they are at least adjusting it. We think there's a good bar before the impact perks can have, but some may have gone a bit past that line and need to be dialed back. Players also have responded well to perks bringing back older components of Heroes kits like Orissa's Shield, Hanzo's Scatter Arrow. No, that one's a joke. It does so little damage. Hanzo's one of those, I just don't even want to pick a perk, or at least not on the first perk, because the Scatter Arrow does so little damage, it actually nerfs your burst damage capabilities. And the other option of using your Sonic to hack a health pack is a waste of cooldown. I don't want either of those. I mean, to get to the next perk, you have to pick one. So I usually do the Sonic Arrow one just so I don't get stuck with the trash version of the Scatter Arrow that's in there. We can't give away all the changes here, but another classic will be reintroduced in a different, less overwhelming way as a major perk for a certain icy DPS hero. Are they going to be giving May's primary back its freezing capability? That is terrifying if that's the case. On the Wind with Freya. A few weekends ago, Freya swooped in for the hero trial. Her sky-high ceiling and swift movement abilities ended up being a big hit with our players. Trial numbers were comparable to Venture's popular test weekend. If she hasn't wrapped you up with her bola shot just yet, you'll have a chance to dive in once Season 16 launches. I don't know if comparing it to the Venture test was the best way to go around that. Go about that, because while Venture was very popular upon release, it was only because they were broken in the metal ranks. As soon as Venture got nerfed, people just stopped playing them. You hardly ever see a Venture anymore outside of Quick Play. Heck, even in Quick Play, you hardly see one. So I really hope Freya ends up being a lot more popular than Venture. Though we don't balance around Quick Play data, which you should, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure you have a bigger Quick Play population than you do competitive at this point. But it gives us valuable information about new heroes during their trials. Freya was a bit lower on the win rate side throughout the test weekend, about 43%, and will be receiving a few light buffs. Understandable. She was definitely fun to play, but did feel kind of weak. Despite her explosive damage, Freya occasionally struggled to secure kills, so we've improved the reliability of her kit to finish the job. Her crossbow now shoots 12 shots before max spread, increasing it from its original 8. Bola shots damage over time is now increased as well as its maximum radius, giving her ult more oomph. I don't think that's the way I would have buffed it, because yes, her ult was fairly weak in most situations, but the trade-off for that is her passive lets her build ult faster than anyone else in the game. So her ult should be weak for as fast as you're getting it. So hopefully they didn't increase that by too much. I think her just regular base damage is what they should have adjusted more than anything. But we'll see how the changes affect there, because, increasing the spread really didn't matter either. Because most of the time you're going to be doing her scoped in shot, which is basically hit scan. Yeah, the more I read that, the less I like those changes. We'll have to see how it goes. But I don't think that's going to affect anything. Because she was already in the test, she was getting extremely high damage, but didn't have the burst potential to finish people off. So she would have the highest damage in the lobby and still have some of the lowest kills. And neither of these changes address that issue. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about those. You'll also see some quality of life changes, like the option to bind her quick dash and double jump input. Overall, we want Freya to be in a comfortable place on launch, knowing players will get better with her kit over time, and we're really happy with where she is now. Oh boy, 6v6 thriving. The hottest topic over the past few months has been the return of 6v6 game modes, and it's clear that many of you are passionate about the option to dive in with a bonus player. Good news for 6v6 enthusiasts, we will be continuing to run the open queue with a 2-tank limit in both quick play and comp throughout all of Season 16. Competitive 6v6 open queue was the third most popular mode in Overwatch 2 during Season 15, according to time played, until it was a totally normal watch April Fool's mode. Googly eyes may reign supreme, but 6v6 modes are holding their own, as are standard 5v5 modes. On average, there's a 3-to-1 ratio of players choosing competitive 5v5 over competitive 6v6 respectively, but the 6v6 population has remained steady. Again, I feel like that data is kind of skewed, because there are a lot of players, myself included, that simply are not going to put the time into getting better at 6v6 if 5v5 is still going to be the primary game mode. I mean, if they announce that 6v6 is going to become the main competitive mode, where that's where you'll earn your competitive points and everything else, and then I will start playing 6v6 over 5v5. But I'm just not going to have time as a casual player to practice two different balance sets. So it's kind of skewed as long as they're both running. I mean, if they flip the switch next season and said, hey, you're only going to get the regular Golden Gun or Galaxy Gun competitive points in 6v6, that would probably flip and be 1-3 instead of 3-1. I don't know. We were curious how the 2-tank limit would pan out, but most games landed on the classic 2-tank, 2 DPS, 2 support. Tank players in 6v6 right now clearly enjoy having another tank buddy in their corner, and no matter which role they choose, players are loving the shorter queue times and the ability to swap roles within a match. There's also a heightened sense of chaos that some folks just can't get enough of. Queue times across the game have remained healthy, and data from Season 16 should give us a better sense of how 5v5 role queue and 6v6 open queue can coexist in the long term. Stay tuned for more information over the next few days as we gear up for Season 16. See you on the servers. So nothing groundbreaking here. I'm glad that they are still trying to give communication ahead of time. Overwatch is one of the few games that still does that, honestly, which I'm happy for. I mean, mentioning changes on perks, those are good. The Tracer nerf one has to happen. Everybody kind of knew that. They didn't mention nerfing Sojourn. They didn't mention buffing Hanzo. And the Freya changes I just don't like. I mean, again, we've only tested her for a couple days. But the fact that they acknowledged that she's having trouble securing the kills, and then the changes they made really don't do anything to increase her burst damage, seems like just a bad way to go about it. But we'll have to see. That's the director's take for now. Y'all have a good one.